My name is Joe Grayson Jr., and I grew up in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. There were 4 girls and 7 boys. And I grew up actually on the campus of Sequoia. And I used to go to Home 3 where they kept the little boys my age and play with them. And my first day at Tahlequah, or Sequoia, and going over there playing with the little boys, they thought I was one of the students there. So 1 o'clock came and they made us all go to sleep for an hour or so. And I had a hard time convincing Mrs. Brady that I wasn't there. My father worked there and I was just playing with the boys. Growing up at Sequoia was a lot of fun for me. There was always something to do. I made friends with some of the students that were there. My father and mother never taught us Cherokee. One reason was that my father spoke Cherokee only when he went to Oaks Mission, and they wouldn't let him speak Cherokee there. They had to speak English. So my father had to learn English. And my mother was born in the Lost City area and was there till she was a school age, and her father moved to Tahlequah, and my mother had to learn English in the summer before she started school. And it was difficult for both of them. So they never taught us Cherokee. Every hymn I learned was in Cherokee. Because that church, they did nothing but Cherokee. And every time we had to sing, the hymns were in Cherokee, and I just kind of picked them up as a little boy. I remember on Saturdays, we would all go to town. And my grandfather, Price Robin, who was the minister, would be sitting down on the court square talking to his friends. And I used to see my grandfather down there. I'd go talk to him, and he would be talking Cherokee to his friends. My grandfather did all of his sermons in Cherokee. And during the day, if he thought of something, he'd stop, sit down, and get his little notebook out and write in Cherokee. And if he knew I was watching, he'd tell me to come over here, and I'd get over his shoulder, and he'd say the word, he'd write it, and then he'd go to each syllabary and sound it out. And my mom was she made baskets, she beaded. Later on, she learned to make bowls. And every one of my brothers and sisters, except the boys they didn't want to learn beading, but we got some idea of what it took to make a basket. We all made baskets. My mom would give me a penny for every 5 flies that I killed. So I got with my sister, Pat, who was the oldest girl, and I started killing flies, and boy, I killed a whole bunch of them. And my mother happened to go back out the back, and Pat was there holding the door open. I learned fractions by those guys working on cars. They would say, find me a ½ inch, and I had to know what a ½ inch was, and I'd hand it to them. I kind of adopted that quality my dad had of going up to meeting people and not being worried about who you are or what they were, but just talking to people. A sense of humor is what I learned in my early life. A sense of humor and to work for what you want.